Alrighty, guys, I think we are ready to get started. So welcome to week 6. I'm sorry, my brain. Week 6 we are on. So just as a review, like I said, today we are going to be talking about the tropical rainforest. So I'm going to give kind of a basic introduction / we're going to go over some awesome cool animals and plants that live there. We also are going to check out a few animal friends from Irvine and talk about them. These animals are not specifically from the tropical rainforest, but they do have some relatives that live there. So we'll talk and kind of compare those two. And then lastly, we will have my awesome, lovely intern, Garland. She is going to be helping to lead our craft today, which today we are going to be making an anaconda Amazon craft, as shown in our lovely picture here. So you don't need your stuff just yet. We'll get to that at the very end. But like I said, today we are going to cover specifically about the tropical rainforest. So if you have your paper with you, you can obviously follow along with us. If you do not, that's totally fine. You can just kind of follow through as we talk about it. So the thing about a rainforest, if you break down the word, so we have rain and we have forest. If you were to just hear that name or hear that word, what do you think happens a lot in this forest? It might be obvious. Let's see, Joseph, start us off. What do you think happens a lot in this forest?
Rain, because it's called a rainforest.
Yeah, pretty much. I know that seems probably straightforward, but you can basically break down the word and it kind of tells you how your environment is or your habitat. So first, like I said, breaking down our rainforest word, rainforest, it rains a ton. So if you guys remember when we talked and kind of in comparison to our other habitats that we've talked about, our other habitats didn't really have much rain. If you guys remember, our desert did not have really rain at all, as well as the tundra, the really cold habitat as well. So we're kind of fully flipping over and we're going into one of the rainiest types of habitats that you can find. And then another way to break down your word, your tropical rainforest, is the word tropical. So if you think of the word tropical or when you use that word, it a lot of times tends to mean hot. So if you're in a hot climate, you're in technically or typically a tropical climate. So if you combine those two together, you get hot and you get rainy. And that is really the perfect way to describe a tropical rainforest. It is hot and it is rainy. And when you get your heat and your rain, what happens? Makes people's hair super frizzy. What is there a lot of in the air? What do you tend to have? Sorry, I'm looking through it just to make sure. Oh yeah, Amya and Nadia, go ahead. What do you think? Don't worry, take your time, you're good. Humid, perfect, yes. So we should be getting right into our humid season here in Maryland here shortly. But if you've ever noticed when it rains outside during the summertime, or if it's really, you can really just feel the wetness in the air, it tends to be, again, connected to the heat. And again, you get that humidity, which again, it's one of those when it feels really heavy and it's hard to breathe sometimes. That is, again, key description of your tropical rainforest. You're going to be hot, you're going to be dealing with the humidity, and again, all of that rain. And just kind of looking at it, this is a breakdown of the different levels of a tropical rainforest. So there are levels in the forest in terms of where and what lives there. Kind of breaking it down between, again, the different layers. You kind of have your bottom layer, which is called your forest floor. So this is, again, a layer, this is where animals that get around by just kind of basic movements. That's, again, going to be the main level that they're on. And then you kind of work your way up. So the next level you have is your understory. So this is, again, another level. You're kind of making your way up the forest. Then you have your canopy. So that's kind of where the basic tops of your tree line end up going. So again, if you can tell, and or if you look at different pictures, you have a whole bunch of level of trees. You have very, very tall trees, medium-sized trees to your lower, and you can kind of see that in our picture as well. So your canopy, again, is going to be another layer of your tropical rainforest that again has your different types of animals and stuff that live there. And then your last layer, your very, very top, is called your emergent layer. And that basically is talking about the very peak of your forest. So this is where your very large trees kind of reach the very tip. And you tend to have the types of animals you tend to have there are your birds, their bats, butterflies, basically animals that generally have wings and can make its way up to that very, very top level right up here.
Rainforest.
So again, as you look through, you can see different layers of it as well. This also kind of gives you a look through as well to see again, to see the different types of animals that live there. We have the other paper as well that we'll dive into as well. But this is, again, just kind of showing you the different animals. And something I always like to point out with these animals is that they're all different kinds of colors and stuff like that. The really cool thing about the tropical rainforest and why it's really special, if you've ever heard about like Save the Rainforest and stuff like that, is there are a lot of animals that live in the tropical rainforest. And there's a reason for it. It's because, one, it has a lot of water. So if you guys remember when we talked about the tundra and the desert, we talked about how there are kind of few animals that can really deal with the extreme weather. They can deal, a lot of animals can't deal with, or plants even can't deal with very little water or very intense heat and no shade and stuff like that. But the rainforest is really cool because it has so much water that allows all the plants to really kind of blossom and bloom in terms of you can grow huge, you can be a little bit more colorful and stuff like that. And again, it's all good. I see I had a hand raised. Yeah, sorry, Joseph, go ahead. Did you have a question or an ad? Go ahead.
I wanted to say a fact about a snake. A snake is normally cold-blooded, and it likes to sun itself in the sun.
Yeah, definitely. Snakes do, again, cold-blooded, and they like to get themselves warm in the sun. Absolutely, yes. So again, like I was saying, so again, you have all of this water that allows all your plants to grow, which then feeds all your animals. So again, it's kind of this level of, you know, starting at the bottom and kind of working your way up. And that's, again, how you're able to have such a diversity of different types of plants and animals that live there, which is really cool. Also, just again, kind of going through or just kind of showing you again, here is a list of different animals that can be found in the rainforest. You have, you know, ranges from your leopards and your tigers. You even have elephants that live in rainforest. A lot of people don't think about that. You're like, elephants, you know, just live in the savannah. They just live out in the, you know, the big grasslands and stuff. But there actually are forest elephants as well, which is pretty cool. And again, the thing to note about this is that there's so many different colors and types of animals that live there. Also, too, you can tell, or you can see, too, does anybody know also what this plant is right here in the corner? Anybody have an idea? You love to eat it. It's a delicious treat. Hopefully I'm thinking of the right thing. Let's see. Briar, what do you think?
They eat flowers.
Sure, yep. I'll say that one is definitely a flower. You have your orchid flower here. But what about this one? What about this guy right here? Does anybody know what type of bean it is? Again, you love to have it. Maybe drizzle it on your ice cream. Joseph, what do you think?
Are those the like coconuts that keep the like bits of nuts that make chocolate?
You're right. It's a nut that makes chocolate. Does anybody know what that nut is called? Amya and Adya, what is that nut called?
Almond.
Almond. There are almonds. It does kind of look like an almond. I hope I'm not mistaking it as an almond.
Not.
Have you guys heard of cocoa beans? what chocolate's made out of? Maybe, maybe not. Cocoa beans? Maybe you've heard of it. So that's where we get chocolate from. That's what you process to make chocolate. So they grow in these tropical rainforest areas and habitats and stuff like that. So again, cool, interesting thing. So again, hope I did not misidentify that, but I'm pretty sure that was that. So like I said, all kinds of really cool and neat things that live there. So like I said, I have some animals that I figured we would go through and kind of talk about. Like I said, these guys are specifically not necessarily from the rainforest, but they do have some relatives that live there. Relatives meaning they have animals that are very similar to these guys. And we're just going to talk about a few cool features that they have. I actually brought out two because one's kind of small, one's kind of big, and they're pretty cool. So I'm going to show them. Also with these guys, because they are a little jumpy, I am going to keep them in their container because it's a little bit easier to handle them and or for y'all to see them that way as well. So let me get situated here for a second. All right, so I'll try and show both of them at the same time if I can. If not, well, we'll just have to see what we can do. So we have our first guy right here. He's right here on the edge. Also, sorry if there is a glare. I'm going to work on trying not to show that. And then we have our other friend right here at the very, very top. So does anybody want to tell me or guess what type of animals these two are right here? Just by looking at them, what type of animal are these guys? Also, I figure showing his little belly is super cute. Matt and Briar, what do you guys think?
I think it's a frog. I think one of them's a poisonous frog.
Yeah, so this is definitely a frog. So it might be easy to tell. Again, I'll try and show them as good as I can. They always like to move though. So again, these are both frogs. So these are specifically called gray tree frogs. So the reason that I pulled them out, like I said, or the reason that we're talking about them is they do have relatives, again, that live in the tropical rainforest. So one example, you can see it's on your paper already. I'm gonna try and show him as well. He's right here. So one relative of the tree frogs is the red-eyed tree frog. So obviously these guys are not the same. These guys are just kind of your grayish kind of coloring and stuff like that. But like I said, I wanted to bring them out because they have similar features as your your red-eyed tree frogs that these guys do as well. So also too, I'll just be moving them around, so don't mind me. So one of the cool things, or one of the things that they're actually, this one little guy is showing you right now, is they have a really cool way of holding on to surfaces. So does anybody know, how is he able to be on the side of this container? How is he able to hold on to there? Mila, what do you think?
I think he has sticky feet.
Yeah, absolutely. He has these really, so his foot has fingers on it. So you can see he's got, like, I believe 3 toes, 1, 2, 3, 3 toes on each of his legs. And on each of his toes, so if you think he's got 3 toes, on each of the finger pads of his toes, he has this kind of sticky kind of suction cup on those tips of his fingers. And so what that allows him to do is, just like he's showing off here, he's able to hold onto the sides of a surface. So for example, he's hanging onto my container here, just kind of hanging out. Again, you see his cute little tummy right there. So again, it's really, really great for them because they can then climb up things really easily. So obviously, if he was out in the wild, he would not necessarily need to climb up a glass or a plastic container, but he would be able to climb up really well for trees. And as you can tell in his name, he likes to be in trees. That's why he's called a tree frog. But it's really cool. Again, you can see he's just kind of hanging onto there. And just like other tree frogs as well, again, he has those sticky pads that help him hang on and kind of stick onto things as well, which is really, really cool. The reason, like I said, too, I brought up the 2 different ones is because, not because they are necessarily different, one is just older than the other. So this guy right here, he's a little bit older than the smaller guy right here. They do eventually get to this bigger size. Also, it's a little bit hard to tell in the container, but this guy, up here is a little bit darker in color than this guy is. And that's actually a variation that happens with these types of frogs. Gray tree frogs can either come in this darker, almost kind of blackish color, or they come in this grayish color. Why do you think they look and have, they come in that color? So they come in kind of a grayish, brownish kind of color. What would be helpful? Why would you need to maybe go or be in that kind of color? What do we think? Let's see, Milo, what do you think?
So they can camouflage.
Perfect. Yeah, so they can camouflage. So again, they like to be in trees, like to hang out there. And so what they would do is they would then go in a tree, or they'd be on a tree or on a rock even, and it would be pretty hard to see them because they would blend in, or like Milo said, they would camouflage into the forest area. So let me ask you guys this. So they look like this color, but if we look over here, our red-eyed tree frog is a bright green color. Why do you think our red-eyed tree frog might be a bright green color instead? So these guys are camouflaged with trees here, and they're this, again, grayish kind of color area. But what do you think about, why is our red-eyed tree frog maybe a different color? Any thoughts? Matt and Briar, what do you think? Ooh, okay, so maybe because it's poisonous. So yes, there are a lot of animals, especially in the tropical rainforest, that their color isn't necessarily because they're trying to blend in with things. Their color actually indicates, or it tells an animal something else. And one thing that it tells an animal is it might be poisonous, or it is poisonous. There are animals that do fake their poison, so they're not actually poisonous, but they pretend they are, which is pretty smart if you think about it. So absolutely, he might be that brightly colored because of his, if he is poisonous or not. Also too, the types of trees and stuff like that you find in the tropical rainforest are going to be a lot different than the ones you find here in Maryland. So like I said, these guys are this grayish kind of brownish color because that's kind of what our tree bark looks like here. Whereas these guys are red-eyed tree frogs, they are more so, they blend in with, you know, kind of your more greener kind of landscape, again, with all your trees and stuff like that. So they maybe have a different coloring for that, which is pretty cool. All right, does anybody have any questions about our frog friends before we get into our craft? Let's see, Briar, did you have a question? Go ahead.
Is its blood green?
Is its what?
Is its blood green?
Are you asking, can it breathe?
No, she said, is it blood green?
I didn't.
The blood.
Oh, the blood. The blood. Is it, what was the question?
Is the blood green?
Oh, is it? I was about to say, no, it is not. The blood green. Sorry. Sorry. Any other questions? Jalen, did you have a question? I thought I saw your hand.
Yeah, I wanted to ask if like we can get them at like a pet shop.
Oh, if you could like find them at a pet shop?
Okay.
Yeah, so again, these guys too, you can find in your backyard. They're all over the place and stuff like that. Again, very, very easy to find, but they camouflage really, really well. So a lot of times it's kind of tricky to see them and stuff like that. So let me just scroll through and make sure I'm not missing anybody. I think nobody else had a question or not. All right, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna quickly pass it over to Garland. She is on our Zoom call as well, so if you see her video, you can always pin her. Again, her name is Garland, and again, she's gonna instruct us and kind of go over how to do our craft today. So, like I said, if you see her on the video chat, you can pin her, and she will go through how to do everything.
Okay, hi guys. So like Emily said, I'm Garland, and I'm going to be doing the craft with you. So your last piece of paper shows the craft and shows the last ending product. Emily's holding it up right now. My printer wasn't working, so I don't have that out, but I'm going to be doing it with you step by step. I also have a mini paper plate compared to you all because it's all I could find in my house. But you guys get the better deal. So we all have the paper plate with the spiral on it. And you're going to take that and your scissors. And the first step is to just cut along the spiral lines all the way until the center. And then this is going to be the head of your snake. So you might want to curl it a little bit so it's kind of a head. So we can all do that first. And raise your hand if you have any questions on that. Okay. Anacondas are pretty cool because they're the largest snakes in the entire world. They can be up to 500 pounds, which is really huge. And I don't know how much any of you guys weigh, but I would bet that even 5 of you together wouldn't be as big as an anaconda, if you can believe that. So that's a really, really big snake. And if you guys know how snakes eat their prey, it's kind of a crazy way. They can capture their prey different ways depending on the type of snake. But anacondas are so big that they can eat a full pig in one meal. Can you guys imagine eating a full pig? It would be crazy. They eat a lot of different stuff though. So this is what I have so far. And you can take your time getting there. Emily's there too. Yes. You might want to, pull it a little bit so your snake can really bend.
My plate is functioning.
Yeah, it's like kind of like a slinky, but paper.
Yeah.
So if you're there, you can start coloring in your snake with any markers you want. Anacondas are normally green, gray, brown, I think, but you can really have fun with it. Put some spots on it, anything you want. I'm doing purple today.
I'm gonna do blue.
Ooh.
Everyone good so far in terms of cutting your paper plate?
All right. You can do any designs you want. All right, and we're getting close to 4:30, so I'm just gonna move ahead, but it's okay if you're not there yet. But just so you know what to do, once you're finished coloring, you're gonna take your googly eyes and you're gonna glue them right here. And if you don't have googly eyes or don't feel like gluing them or don't have glue, you can just draw them. I didn't have googly eyes, so I'm just going to draw my eyes like that. All right. Any questions there? Okay, and then the last step is just to glue on your little snake tongue.
From the line.
What?
You need to cut the line from the plate.
Yes.
You need to like cut the line from the plate.
Yep, you just follow the line.
Okay.
However you want.
Is this okay?
That looks like a really good snake. Yes. And then all you're going to want to do is color it in and then glue or draw on your eyes and glue on your tongue.
I can show you guys too. I put some googly eyes on mine, so that's where
Ooh,
I put my little googly eyes. I was starting the process of making some spots. So we
I
have
like the polka dots.
And then, like Miss Garland said, once you then have that, you can also make your,
You guys should all have a little tongue in your bag, but it's pretty small. So if you don't see it, it might still be in there.
don't mind me, I'm just quickly showing them.
Whoa.
Tongue got a little bit misshaped, but that's okay. Don't mind if my tongue does not look great, but
Oh, I like it.
so I was about to say my bee's a little too big, but hey, that's all right. My snake is unique. So
Yeah.
so that, like, just like Miss Garland said, again, is how you do it. So again, you can spend some time decorating the actual snake because we are just about out of time for today. So keep working on that. Again, color it and make it whatever design and stuff like that you want. I see some people's is on there already. It looks great. Looking awesome. All right, wonderful. So that is it for today. So we will get logged off and we will see you all next week. So bye everyone.